All right. This ends the final segment of, or this marks the final segment of the sun in the different positions in the first 90 degrees of the zodiac. So we started with Aries, and now we're at Cancer, 90 degrees in. Here we go. So, Cancer. What happens when the sun, your sun sign, goes into the zodiac sign of Cancer in your horoscope? Okay, so what is sun? Sun is your ego, sun is your core desires, sun is your creative potential, sun is your personal aesthetic, sun is your relationship in terms of how you're perceived in society, and sun is also relates to the relationship with your father. Okay, so what is the sign of Cancer? The sign of Cancer is a sign of the home. It's a sign regarding discipline and protection of the home. It is a sign of emotions, and it is ruled by the moon, and it is a cardinal water sign. So, what happens when your ego, your core sense of self, and your personal expression of energy goes into the cardinal water sign of Cancer, being ruled by the moon? Okay, so these people firstly, they prefer to be in private. They prefer to not be bombarded with information constantly because the world is extremely intense to them. They perceive a lot of information. It can be very hard to assimilate. People who have water signs, suns in general, their identity is based around they're very intuitive. They pick up a huge amount of information from their environment, and they're very in tune with the way the world actually is. Whereas, like somebody with the sun in Aries or the sun in Taurus might be blinded by their goals, the sun person with the sun in Cancer sees almost everything that's going on. They're very perceptive, and because of that, they tend to have a bit of trouble communicating. They weigh their words very carefully because they're taking in so much information. They want to be able to see and actually know what they're talking about. So they can be a little bit indecisive in their speech because they're trying to make sure it's well received and that it's accurately expressing the reality that they are like actually looking at and see, which is a vast plane of existence that they see all the bad stuff too. These people can be extraordinarily negative, but it's realistic. I mean, the world is a pretty fucked up place. It's a bad place. So these people see the good, the bad, and the ugly, but mostly the bad and the ugly. That is one thing about these people, and that works in their function because the function of the zodiac sign of Cancer is to be a protector, and it is to be a stable, uh, have a stable home. And in order to have a stable home and a comfortable life, you need to be able to manage all of the bad things that can go on in your life. So you need to be able to make a stable, like the only person who's stable really truly is the person who's conquered all their enemies. So that is the task of a Cancer, is to, like a mother bear. Cancer is related to the mother. The moon is the mother goddess, but the moon also rules midnight, rules the nighttime. And these people, like, they're fully aware of what goes on in the shadows of the collective unconscious, the shadows of the human mind. And like as a result, that can be kind of traumatizing to them because they don't necessarily want to go and fight these evil monsters that pop up at night, but they are typically forced to. People with the sun in Cancer tend to they tend to be a very good, decent person who ends up in a lot of bad situations, and a lot of people look at them like, why are you in all these bad situations? Like, why, you're such a good person, you're such an innocent person, why do you end up in all these hellholes? And they might not even know this, but the reason that they do that is because they are trying to go into these dark midnight abysses and save the people in there and learn about the nature of the monster and the nature of insecurity and instability so that they can protect themselves. Because if you don't live in the monster's den for a while, you'll never understand how to protect yourself, so you're always going to feel insecure. These people in their early lives, they're very insecure and they have a hard time getting jobs because they feel this need to like go and explore the darker side of things and to learn how to defend themselves against chaos and evil. Um, and these people are very sensitive and they're very good and they have a strong sense of right and wrong, but they can also very easily become tainted with darkness because the things they have to go through in life typically are so traumatic to such a sensitive person that it can make them sharp tongued, and very reactive and volatile and emotional. And these people are prone to depression because of all the weight they have to carry, knowing and seeing all of this darkness. Like, they're not like Aries people or Taurus people who just want to achieve their goals and just want to have the like Ferrari and or eat the nice food. They want to understand the nature of evil and the nature of predation so that they can protect themselves and their families from it. And they have this need to change things and to make alleviate suffering in the world because they're so they feel so like bad about how many people are suffering, that these other people are just driving past in their Ferraris or not giving any money to the homeless people. Even Gemini, they're just trying to like sell things and like preach their philosophy, and the Cancer looks at that as like, dude, okay, you're smart, but like you're not using that to help anybody. You're not using that to heal the world at all. So they can be very discouraged as well, because they see the dark side and they see that nobody's really helping those people in the dark side. So that's what happens when the sun gets into the cardinal water sign of Cancer. And before I leave on such a negative note, this is a very good sun placement to have, but it's very hard. It's perceptive. Sun in all the water signs is very perceptive, and it's very reactive and emotional, and they are tasked with uncovering the harder, darker side of life that most people might even never experience. So that is all I'll really say about Sun in the sign of Cancer. Actually, one more thing. These people, one of their primary lessons in life is to learn when to give and when not to give. So these people can have a tendency in their early life to be very naive and bring a lot of say they might get a house because they work really hard at these things. They might bring a lot of homeless people into the house, and they're going to have to learn the hard way that a lot of these people who are in bad situations are not in the monster's den because they are just victims of hard times. They're in the monster's den because they are monsters. And these people are going to have to deal with that at some point in their life, typically. So, yeah, that's my video on Sun in the sign of Cancer. Tune in next time.